40 years of developing hockey players from youth to the pros, Minnesota Hockey Camps has a player development program for you. Located in Breezy Point, Minnesota, our professionally coached on-ice development sessions, off-ice speed training, weight room sessions, stick handling sessions, shooting skill sessions are the right program for you. MHC takes great pride in its tradition with developing NHL players like Chris Stewart, Ryan Bugsy Malone, Scotty Hartnell, and TJ Oshie. Our dedicated staff is ready for you. Come check us out at MinnesotaHockeyCamps.com. Sign up for your chance to become the player you've always wanted to be. Hashtag who will be next.
Cold showers, leaking pipes, furnace giving you the chills? Look no further. At Iron Range Plumbing and Heating, we've got you covered. From expert plumbing solutions to HVAC magic and all sheet metal work, we are your one-stop shop for comfort and reliability. Professional service from a team that cares. Say goodbye to household woes and hello to peace of mind. Call Iron Range Plumbing and Heating today and feel the difference.
At Grand Rapids Chevrolet GMC in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, we have the trucks. Over 47 new Silverados and Sierras sitting currently on the lot with more to come. We have all the options: LT, RST, LTZ, High Countries, ZR2s. We have heavy duties. We have Sierra, SLT, Elevations, Denali's. We are equipped for the truck you are looking for. With great rebates currently, with up to $12,500 off on select models, now would be a great time to take advantage of savings and get yourself into a new truck today. Grand Rapids GM in Grand Rapids, Minnesota.
Welcome, everybody, to the Tea with Ms McGill Show, presented by our friends over at Fortune Bay Resort and Casino. Make plans today to visit Fortune Bay Resort and Casino on beautiful Lake Vermilion. Fortune Bay offers 172 rooms in a smoke-free resort environment, indoor pool, full-service marina, RV park, world-class golf, several dining options, a bar, and, of course, 24/7 gaming. Visit fortunebay.com for more details and plan your trip today. We talked last week about snow. We got plenty. So I think it's time for sledding. So if you want to get the sled out, get up to Fortune Bay. Make plans for this weekend. All right, it is Puka speaking. This is the star of the show, Coach Reed Larson. We're into week 4, Coach, episode 95.
95. And we are deep into the dog days early. Usually the dog days don't start until January. But when I think about the dog days of hockey, it's usually kids are getting sick.
Yeah.
You know, it's cold.
Oh, it's cold.
Your kids are bumped up a little bit. I mean, we're only a few weeks in, and it's below zero.
Oh, massively.
And we get a water main that breaks right outside, right in front of Gamma Arena.
Yeah, tell the story.
Well, all it is just a water main there on Highway 38, going up towards the arena. It's right out in front of the entrance. There just was I'm sure because of the cold weather, but the water main broke and there was no water to the arena. So all youth practices got canceled. Of course, the high school had to have practice. We did. It was the only time the ice was clean during the day, and then we messed it up, so no one else was going to be able to skate.
Sure. Yeah.
So they canceled it, but we had to tell all the guys, no showers, no bathroom. You better take care of it before you leave the high school. So.
Sure.
That was all set, but anyways, that's because of cold weather.
Yeah, probably.
It is the dog days.
35 below with wind chill last night or whatever. I got up. I left the house about 5. I had 23 below. So
5. Listen to this guy. He's 5 o'clock in the morning and he's working until the wee hours of the night. Look at him.
That's all right. I love the morning. So, so like I said, episode 95, and of course, all of you know what's in 13 days. The big Christmas season is here, so don't forget merch. Last week we talked about it. If you buy 2 items, we will ship free t-shirts, hoodies, baseball caps. So perfect gift for dad, kids. You're looking for that perfect gift, or wives. Tea with Ms McGill Birch. Like I said, just get hold of myself, Reed, Goatsportsmediallc at gmail.com, and we'll figure it out. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all that good stuff. We'll get you hooked up for the Christmas season. Remember the Bruh Award?
Bruh.
So we've got a Bruh Award coming up, so stay tuned for that. New subs this week. Some of you are going to know this from the Eastern Range hockey name. Marty Whippler. Bud is wiser. I thought that was Bud is wiser. I thought it was pretty clever. And Alec Larson.
Hey, what's up, Al?
You know Al?
That's my nephew.
Oh, there we go.
My brother's kid. That's Craig's kid, Al.
So all of you get your nephews to subscribe.
Yeah, well, Al, he wants to make sure he watches this because you know we're going to talk about him, and it's us here in a couple of weeks. Alec and I and Craig are going to go to the Winter Classic game in Chicago, Blackhawks versus Blues at Wrigley Field. And
I hope it's not like today.
We're pretty well. It's in Chicago. It'll be windy, but it's not going to be that cold there. It's close to the lake. But at any rate, I'm sure that's why he wanted to sub. Make sure, because we know we're talking about this the next couple shows.
100%.
This will be probably once in a lifetime being able to go watch a Winter Classic for an NHL game outdoors. That's going to be awesome.
Be totally awesome. Yeah, good for you. All right. Yeah, we'll talk about that as we get closer. Also, be just like these fine folks and subscribe to America's fastest growing hockey show today. And like I said this last week, this is a great way to support the show at no cost to you. Hammer that like button now. Let's giddy up and get into our games of the week presented by the Ring Sports Bar and Grill. Gift card specials out. What do you call it?
Well, that's the no-brainer.
That's the no-brainer. $100 purchase, $20 free. $100 purchase, $20 free. I don't know if there's any limits. I didn't see any. But head over there. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, nightly specials. As a matter of fact, Burger Night Monday, Taco Tuesday, Wing Night Wednesday, the legendary Quad City Fish Fry on Fridays, and Prime Rib. You can get a king cut on Saturday night. So Ring Sports Bar and Grill, 248-8582, or the ringsportsbarandgrill.com. Tell Michelle the Tea with Ms McGill show sent you. All right, well, let's giddy up right here, Yanmar. You guys had a big weekend, practically the Canadians.
Yeah, the teams that we can get that are as close as you can get to the Canadian border. We don't play international falls anymore. That's their different class and not part of the conference anymore. But so that would have been the other one that's as close as you can get. But Roseau World came to town. Friday night was a battle against the Rams with the Thunderhawks. It was kind of a sloppy game. But I had to give some credit to Roseau. It doesn't matter if Roseau's, a state contender or if they're maybe considered a little bit down. It doesn't matter. Any time that Rapids plays Roseau, it's a battle. And I think there's a lot of history with those two teams. It goes way back farther than this, but, just in my time, in 2007, it was a battle all the way to the end of the season between those two teams. Grand Rapids lost in the state championship to Roseau. It wasn't too much longer before that was 1990. Yep. Rapids in the state final lost to Roseau. Yep. Those two teams have got a history of battles against each other. So no matter who's good and who's not good, there's always a fight. It was a 0-0 hockey game going into the third period, and Roseau struck first. Just about 6 minutes into the period. We didn't answer back until late. I think there was probably about 3.5, 4 minutes left in the game, and Luka Roloff popped a one-timer in, and we tied the game up. We were pretty much rolling from that point after we kind of popped one in and saw that we could, get things moving. But it was
building get going a little?
Yeah, the building got going, the bench got going, the guys got excited. And then it went into overtime, and just into overtime, just a few minutes in, 3 minutes into overtime, a puck slides over to Job Carpenter, and he gets his first Gino of his career. Slap shot, like nice a one-timer, came sliding right over to the right point, and he claps that baby. And it's what's cool about it is that it was in overtime, and in high school hockey, in overtime, you switch ends, so you go the same direction you do in the second period. So they're going south to the south end, and he got to score that in front of a huge student section. Sure. So, boom, right there. There's people with it, It was pretty cool. If you get a chance to see it, you can take a look out on Instagram. There's a whole bunch of people that shared that. I can't remember who shared it. If it was Grand Rapids Barstool, I think, is the one who likes to share some of those things. There's a video of it, like boom, one-timer goal, and the whole crowd goes nuts. It was pretty cool. It was good for his first goal ever, and that one right there is one that he's a coaching staff favorite right now. Like Joe Carpenter has come such a long ways for the Thunderhawks. He's a guy that has worked his butt off for 3 years to try and get into a role to play. He went down to the state tournament as a junior last year with the team. Didn't see a whole lot of ice time. Never whined about it. Just made sure that the team was winning and was a team guy. And he came back this year and ready to play, and he's just been climbing. It's been fun to see him get better, and it's really cool to see him get that winning goal in that game.
Oh, cool. Congrats, Joel. And then a matinee on Saturday.
Yeah, 2:00 game in the afternoon on Saturday, and this was just after Warroad had made a trip over to Rock Ridge. They're at Yanmar on Saturday, and they're a top-rated team. They're probably a 2 or 3 rated single A team. 1 or 2.
Yeah, they're in the top.
Probably have one, probably 2 or 3. Those get shuffled around. Depends on what polls you're looking at, but that was a pretty tight game. I mean, it was kind of going down to the wire most of the night. And again, just like with Roseau, they struck first. We went into the locker room after the first period down 1-0. So, but we're actually playing really good. I mean, against a top-rated team, normally you come in the locker room, you're down 1-0, and it's like, come on, guys, pick it up. And it wasn't that way. It was coaches just like, be patient, keep doing what you're doing. The scoreboard doesn't say what's happening out there. You guys are playing really good hockey. Just keep doing it. It's going to shift. It's going to change. And sure as heck it did. We scored a lot of power play goals that night, which is kind of different. It's nice to see with the Thunderhawk team here in recent years. We've kind of battled to try and get our power play back. So Caleb Gunderson scored the first one to tie the game up, and then it was just go from that point on. And the game ended up, was it 5-1 or 6-1? I think
6-1.
6-1. We scored 5 power play goals.
Oh wow!
It got to the third period, and they had a check from behind, or whatever they called boarding, or check from behind. Nathan Garski got hit from behind down in their zone. They called a 5-minute major. And we scored 3 power play goals on that one. And then there was another power play that we got, and another one right away. And so we had a 5-on-3. We scored on that one.
Coach Hardwick couldn't have been happy.
He wasn't a happy camper when it came to all of the power plays. I can't tell you that the power plays were even for both sides, because they weren't. I mean, we had more power plays than they did, but it's kind of like, we always say this, anybody that goes up to Warroad to play a game, when you go up to Warroad, you better expect that you are going to get half the amount of power plays at the very most from what Warroad's going to get. They're always going to get more power plays than you, and their power plays always just lights out. So that was one thing. I think they got 1 power play, and we were really good on the kill. We shut it down.
Okay.
So that was pretty good. But yeah, I'm sure. I didn't want to say it that way, but it's kind of, geez, it was kind of almost like karma. Like, it's finally we got more power plays than Warroad did.
Okay.
And we executed. 5 for 8 on the power play is really good.
Oh yeah.
On a night. So we took that. We walked out of there pretty happy after the weekend sweep. Those 2 teams, especially Friday night kind of being like a blah. We didn't play very good, but we won. And Saturday night being like we played really good and we scored a lot of goals. And I think Warroad actually played better than a 6-1 loss. I think that was a closer game than that. So, if you're a Warroad fan, don't look at the score. It was more of a, hey, this is kind of what happens when the wheels fall off. When there's more power plays and we're opportunistic, and you get a lot of skill players. I think the same thing could have happened the other way if they had some opportunities and were, lighting the lamp on the power play. So that was a really good move into this week, and we'll talk about kind of what's coming down the pike for weeks here, games coming up.
Yep, big one. Some momentum you can carry over. All right, I had the, privilege or just kind of luck. I happened to be in the city, so I visited the Chisholm-Hibbing-Totino Grace game. Hibbing started out, the bus legs, I think started out a little slow, I'd say the first 4 minutes, and they kind of got settled in. They popped one, and then it leaned pretty Hibbing, or pretty heavy Hibbing. I think shots after the first were 13-3 or something like that. 4-1 after the second, so we're up there thinking, we're going to see some razzle-dazzle here in the third. And Totino kept it tight, although they did get in a little bit of penalty trouble, but Hibbing actually had a hard time getting in the zone in the third period on some of those power plays. So ends up being a 4-1 Blue Jacket win. Did not get defined. I think Coach Parkos was having a little heart-to-heart with his guys because I stopped over about a half hour after the game and the door was shut and I wasn't going to knock or bother. So we'll catch Timmy next time. But one interesting thing, I was telling you a little bit in the pre-chat, Brooklyn, I think Brooklyn Center or Brooklyn Park Event Center, really nice. 2 sheets, never been there. Just a modern building, all kinds of stuff, community center. But all of a sudden, after I'm talking to Coach Hanno, Coach Zubich, Jammer, Allison, all the guys, and the kids are kind of running out to the bathroom. What's going on? They said, no showers. So I was really surprised. So those poor cheerleaders, Chisholm Haven girls, had to sit on a charter bus, a JV team that didn't shower and a varsity that didn't shower.
Did they? The cheerleaders on the bus?
They were on the bus, yeah. So whatever, 3-hour drive ride from there, whatever, in a charter. So
well, that did not smell good for
yeah, so they all deserve a letter there, the Chisholm Haven cheerleaders. All right, let's go back to World. So another game that you got to catch a little bit of. They said World paid a visit over to the Iron Trail Event Center, matched up against Rock Ridge Friday night.
Yeah, and I went back. I didn't watch the game live. I watched it on Spidio. Obviously, we pull all of our film from Spidio and break film down. So obviously that night after our game, I'm the video guy. I go home and start watching film on the game of just to watch Warroad because they're coming in the next night, and I want to watch that game. And you could see for the most part that most of the evening it was pretty much Warroad, dominating it. They were 4-0 going into the third period, and then of course, get into late in the game, Warroad got into some penalty trouble again, just like they did on Saturday night against us. They got into some penalty trouble, and Rock Ridge scored 2 power play goals. Warroad scored another one to make it 5-2 in the end. But which was kind of cool watching this game. And this is something that people would say, well, what difference does it make if you have an NHL guy, former NHLer, coaching your team? Well, this is the stuff that sometimes you don't think about if you haven't played at a high level or been around the game at a high level. He pulled the goalie when the score was 4-0 and there was like 6 minutes left in the game. Because Warroad had a penalty. So they had a power play. They pulled the goalie to make it 6-on-4, and that's where they scored the first one. That was Grady DeBerrio that scored that first one. I can't remember if they scored the second one as a 6-on-4. I know they did pull it, but I can't remember what happened. I'm not sure if they had the goalie pulled yet or not, but yeah, on that second one. But they did score another power play goal. So it was back-to-back. The first one I know for sure, when they scored it was 6-on-4.
Okay. Yeah, and I think the last one was an empty netter. So it was
the last one was an empty netter for Warroad. But a good battle back. I mean, that's, again, for Rock Ridge, that's a team that people are keeping their eyes on right now. They are. It's a team where you've got some leadership that led the team last year. Senior Grady DeBerrio, junior Kaz Carlson, Flatley, Walters. You got guys there that have experience making it to a semifinal and playing in Amsoil, and they're going to battle. And the X factor here is that it's nice to see, what can happen when Matt Niskanen brings his edge to it too, and he's brought a little bit to it already. I've just seen a little bit of extra structure.
Yeah,
there's some things in the game that I think you can coach for a lot of years and know what you're doing, but you can spend a few years playing in the NHL and know a few things about X's and O's that, you really don't get unless you've been coached by an NHL coach.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? So it kind of nice to see that little piece of it.
Yeah, interesting. All right, and the final one I covered, Tuesday night, Hermantown at Mars against the Marshall Hilltoppers. Ends up in a 2-2 tie. Just a couple takes I had, kind of little UMD, maybe you'd call it a little bit, at Marshall, the Sissons kid. He's got to be around our generation. Colin Anderson, he's around our generation. His son Leighton's playing D. Is it this Benson Peterson?
Yep.
Okay. I wasn't heard his name a lot. I thought they were talking about PD from Hermantown.
Oh.
The one that's going to St. Thomas.
Yep.
So I was kind of watching, like, wait, no. Marshall's got the pucks. I think he's number 17. He's pretty good. So I'm gonna do this. I know you had said in our preseason show, Forest Lake is kind of your dark horse there in AA. I'm gonna put Marshall down as my dark horse. I was pretty impressed.
That's kind of like my number 2 dark horse, for sure.
Because even with overtime shots, and I can't remember, they showed the scoreboard. I couldn't see who it was. because obviously the score is 2-2, but it was 41-37. So it wasn't, it wasn't like, well, the goalie got hot and the shots were 30-10. I mean, it was back and forth. Marshall had a breakaway, 5 minutes to go, got stuffed, and then a cross ice dot to dot one timer. Hermantown's goalie got over to it, so they had plenty of chances to seal that game. And look from them after. The congratulations for Marshall after, but I mean, I think they almost felt like they felt pretty elated and felt like they almost won that game. So
well, yeah, I mean, there's a moral victory there. I'm sure that it's not all that exciting if you don't win, but at least you didn't lose. So at any rate, I like the idea that you picked those guys as your dark horse, because for me, I think Marshall had to prove it first before I was going to give them a dark horse position, and I think now they've kind of proved it that they can play with the big dogs.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, of course, and the big hole we talked about in the preseason show was the ninth grade goaltender.
Yeah.
His name escapes me from last year. Of course, went to South Dakota.
I don't know where he went,
school or
but I know
something.
he left.
Okay, yeah. So obviously got this hole to fill, and I can't name who the goalie is. You guys can throw it in the comments, but plenty of talent there. All right. Anything else on the games that were?
Nope.
All right. I'm gonna move on to the games that are coming up here. Good time to pound the like button. So our previews presented once again by Aspire Heating and Control, your local Bryant dealer. As Coach Larson said, it is very cold. So if you have any problems with your furnace, these are guys to call. They specialize in gas, electric, and hydronic heating and cooling systems for existing and new construction, residential and commercial installations available. Services include forced air systems, boilers, heat pumps, mini splits. They are, of course, licensed and bonded. Give Justin a call, 999-5957, 999-5957. Get the furnace tuned up, because we're just into December. We got a lot of cold weather. You want that thing running in tip-top shape here for the rest of the winter. All right. Speaking of Rock Ridge, back at home. So here's one interesting stat. So they'll have played 8 games when this weekend ends, with 6 being at home, 2 being away. So if you want to see the Wolverines get to the rink this weekend, they got, like I said, two great single A teams coming to town, Little Falls and Cathedral. Thoughts on the weekend? Think they pull the sweep?
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Because Cathedral's still, about
They're
6
still
or 7, 8 maybe in the single A poll.
range
Yep.
right now, but I think Cathedral's beatable. I think they are. I think people give them a lot of credit at the beginning of the year because they won last year and got their, obviously if you win the state championship the year before, you get a chance to at least hold the number 1 spot when the season starts. But I think from that point on, it's kind of difficult if you're not pulling off a whole bunch of wins. So I think there's a good chance that Rock Ridge can pull that one out.
All right, and how about Little Falls? You know anything about it? I know they're not ranked. They have been a perennial ranked team. But
Well, I have a hard time with commenting on this one because you know who is an assistant coach there, my brother, Craig.
Oh, he is? Oh, I did not know that.
He is. I don't know if he's going to be on the bench this year or not. He was there last year kind of as a skill coach and kind of worked with our power play on ice for practice, and then kind of would step off to the side during the games and help. I mean, the guy's been coaching for 25 years, so
he's no dummy.
He's no dummy, and Joey Hanowski's the head coach there at Little Falls, took over after Tony Klucher. He's got a lot of respect for Craig and has asked him to come in and help. He's got a group of buddies that he coaches with there, but he wanted to bring in kind of the veteran knowledge to help me on the side, help my team have success. You know enough people to get these guys to the next level and play junior hockey and try to find where I'm missing.
Yeah.
And I think that, so I'm excited to see that. Little Falls has always made a trip up to Virginia, as far as I can remember. When I was coaching at Virginia, they would come up every year. I never made a trip to Little Falls when I coached there. They always came to Virginia.
Okay.
And I think that was because they always wanted to make a trip up north every year. Tony Kuchar was from International Falls.
Yeah.
So they always wanted to stop in Virginia, play a game on the way up to International Falls and play a game there on Saturday. And then he'd spend that was always that first weekend. So he would have his team would be there with the assistant coaches. He'd go hang out with his parents and have Thanksgiving dinner with his parents and then, come back. Perfect. That was part of his trip. Now they've since, I don't know if they've kept every single year going there, but I know that they wanted to get it back. If they didn't, they might have had a couple of years off. And it sounded like they were pretty excited to go back there and play at that rink. And
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, they've got
yeah.
Little Falls has Hibbing on Saturday.
they have Hibbing on Saturday, so it's
afternoon.
Friday night at Rockridge and
then
Saturday at Hibbing.
Hibbing,
And, that's going to be a nice little matchup. I'm sorry for all of my Virginia people and my Rockridge people, but now that I'm not a part of that program anymore and it's not the Blue Devils anymore, I think I might have to just cheer for my brother a little bit. So I still love you, Virginia. I still do, but its blood is thicker than anything else. So I got to watch my brother's team and see if they can do it. But that's going to be a good matchup. It is. Little Falls is not a slouch. They're not. They've got some players.
All right. Well, you're going to be busy Friday night right here. Oh, by the way, just real quick, so to put a bow on it with, like I said, if you want to catch Rock Ridge, catch them. Because I said 6 of their first 8 games have been at home. I'm assuming, I haven't looked at their schedule, but I'm assuming they're going to get on the road. So get out, support the team this weekend. Friday night, Coach Reed Larson will be busy because now the number 11 Grand Rapids Thunderhawks, congratulations, are facing Maple Grove. Are they ranked? I'm going off the Care 11 poll, which I didn't see them.
Yeah, I was just going to say, shh, don't tell anybody. I don't want, and I don't even, Grant isn't the type of guy that cares about rankings either, but to be honest with you, I'd rather be that team that doesn't get ranked at all until the end of the year. It's like you just fly under the radar. Of course, when you start putting together a few big wins in a row, people start turning their heads and you're not going to fly under the radar for very long. So I guess it feels good for the kids and the community to see their name in the polls on something. But as a coach, it's almost like the kiss of death. You want to fly under the radar. It's good to be the underdog. Because when you win, it's like, heck yeah, you had to work to get this. And, I think that they're probably still rated ahead, but I don't know, depending on, I like to look at the Minhawk forums with Carl East. When he does his, because he does a really good write-up. So if you haven't looked at Carl East's rankings, I would recommend that you do that. He does a really good job of writing up games and who's played who and who they've beat and who's playing well for their team. He just look up Carl East, look up the Minhawk forums when they do their AA rankings. He does a really awesome job.
Okay. Now that I'm thinking about Maple Grove, if I'm not mistaken, this game was later January last year. This was the game that Luka Roloff had the big scare behind the net, remember, with the player. But if I had to, not being on the staff, kind of, because you guys upset them, and I think that was almost a little bit of a turning point for you. I think that was the confidence when your team finally said, we can win, we can play some hockey, we can win some games.
Yeah, it was a turning point. I think it was after we had played. Who did we play the weekend before? I think it might have been.
Was it Wayzata?
No, I'm pretty sure this was after. I could be wrong, but I think we had lost to White Bear Lake.
Oh.
And we had lost to, did we lose to Hill too? I can't remember, but I know we lost to White Bear Lake. It was 2-0 game, and then we came back, and you're right, it was a turning point. We ended up beating Maple Grove. We ended up going on a run there at the end of the year, and it might have been the turning point time that we needed. We beat a top team, and we went from there, and it was pretty awesome to see the shift. So, guys, we heard that in practice today. Like, hey, this is the start of a really, really good part of our schedule. Like, you got Maple Grove this weekend, who is a top team, and then boom, you got a few days rest, and you're off to the Edina Classic, Edina, Eden Prairie, and Elk River, and then shortly after that, when Christmas is done, you got East and Wayzata, and I mean, it doesn't end.
No, it doesn't stop.
No,
right?
This is the start of it. Like, the good news is guys have been practicing well. They've been playing well. The last game we played, I think, was one of the best games we played this year. So it's like this is going to be a fun matchup tomorrow night here at Yanmar Arena. I think if you're not doing anything and if you can handle the bitter cold to be able to get out and go into a cold arena and watch a game, you won't be disappointed by going there. No. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Two high-end juggernaut AA teams going to battle it out for some respect.
All right. Look forward to it after my daughter's basketball game.
Do it.
After my daughter's basketball
We'll watch basketball first.
All right. Scores and more. Iron Range Apparel. They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook. Of course, the new location in Virginia, right next to or connected to Super One there, right on the Highway 53 Super One. It is the gift buyer's paradise for What else? Christmas. So 13 days left. Go get your ODR swag. Like I said, the Gift Buyer's Paradise, you can get all your shopping done in one place for everyone on the list. So, like I said, Iron Range Apparel. Like I said, check them out. Instagram, Facebook, new location. And also, like I said, if you need any custom stuff done for yourself, tees, visors, hats, hoodies, they do all the Tea with Ms McGill merch. Check them out at Iron Range Apparel. All right, scores and more from the week that was. We talked about I Falls with their opener last week. 10-1 winners over Beaver Brae Secondary up there in Ontario. Their home opener, I was in the Falls earlier today. Home opener right now at Bronco Arena against Moose Lake. Good luck to the Broncos. Ely nipped by Mora 3-1. Bemidji 6-3 winners over Brainerd. Now there's another dark horse where I kind of watch him and kind of hearing Bemidji's got a little bit there this year. They got a little sprinkle of talent. So that's my Section 8 dark horse. I'm going to put it on the list right now is Bemidji for me. Roseau, Tuesday night, drubbed by the Moorhead Spuds, 9-0. Denfeld's tough season continues, 6-3 loss to Rock Ridge. Rivalry game, Cloquet over Proctor in OT, 4-3 to remain undefeated.
Yeah, that it doesn't surprise me in one sentence, and then I think about it for a second, and it's like, what? You know, so there's parts of it that there's a battle, and it was in Proctor, right? So I believe.
I don't know.
I could be wrong. I thought I saw it in Proctor, but I guess maybe I'm tripping over something. I could have been at Northwoods too. Who knows? Maybe my Sprite.
Someone comment.
Did you put something in my Sprite? I just saw a lot of good things lately from Cloquet-Escocalta. They've been really good lately. That top line has been really good. It might have been the one game that they just maybe weren't on it like they have been. And if you take a night off against that Proctor team, they're going to be in your face. Like, they got guys that can score and they can skate. Tanner Ross, some of those guys are pretty good. So it might have been a night like that, or maybe it was just Proctor just shifted gears. I don't know. It's
rivalry game.
It is a rivalry game, but what are they, 6-0 now?
Yeah, they're undefeated. Yep.
They're undefeated, and good for you guys. Keep playing.
Yeah, the rankings there, single A, they're 2, 3, kind of in
2 or 3 in the state right now in single A. Yeah.
Duluth East upended by Centennial 5-4. North Shore 3-1 victors over Ashland. And we had a big birthday last night. We didn't get to do the show last night. We had some other stuff going on. So we didn't get to get him on his day. But Walleye Scott, CFP, big birthday. I think he turned 22, I think.
Walleye
Scott. I think he turned 22.
22.
Yesterday, Wednesday, the 11th. So congratulations to Walleye Scott. And with the Walleye Scott CFP Edina Hornets update, 4-2 winners over Benilde St. Margaret.
Doesn't surprise me. They had that game, and now this entire week is what they call Hell Week in Edina. They get after it. They grind it for a week in practice. They get bagged every single day. They don't play a game to get ready for the Edina Classic. So
it's their all-star break, huh?
It kind of is, but Kurt Giles has been doing that for a decade and a half. It's like he's just been rolling these guys. He gets a few games in, gets up to this one, and then a week before the Edina Classic, he just puts them through the ringer for an entire week. And they condition, they battle, they get after it, and they bond, the team bonding, and then they want to get them hitting full tilt when they meet us the first night. And Thursday night, what is it, the 19th? When
a week from today, right? It's 12th, yep.
Plays Edina, so the only thing I'll have to say about that one is if they think the old Thunderhawks are going to roll over, they better check.
It's not happening.
They'll roll over. They're ready. They'll be ready. They may not be ready now, but they will be next week.
They're ready. All right. Some of you may have seen this. It's kind of buzzing around the internet. Friday's Minnesota Gopher game against Michigan State. I think they're actually 1-2 also in the Big Ten, so it should be a good series. Wearing, taconite gray jerseys. Here are a couple of quotes. These jerseys are a tribute to the gritty, hardworking culture that embodies Minnesota's Iron Range. And another quote, inspired by the legendary talent from the area. This jersey embodies the toughness and pride of a region that has helped shape Golden Gopher hockey. So Pretty cool.
Absolutely.
And I've heard a rumor on the street, there were a couple of text messages that a classmate, a buddy of mine, Vidi, who's a fan of the show, he was the guy that might have emailed some of the program, then get a response, and emailed Coach Motzko directly to get this. And Motzko, according to rumor and lore, is I love it. And so check them out. It's kind of all over Facebook, Instagram. You can find that, or just go anywhere, Go for Hockey. So that will be Friday night, like I said, against Michigan State. Bruh. Time for the bruh.
The bruh
so,
award.
So like I said, I'm down there watching Hibbing. Krumpetich, can't think of his first name. God, little guy, coached at Mini Mice anyway. Landon Krumpetich gets a goal. I don't think anything of it. Everyone goes to see Landon, but there's one guy, the captain of Hibbing, scrambling, almost directly to where I am. Full speed. What's this guy doing?
Going to get the puck.
Going to get the puck. Goes over to Coach Hanno. Chooses to Coach Hanno. So first career goal. So congratulations to Landon. And also congratulations, Jason, for being our first award for 24-25. So kids, that's what you do. Think of others. Think of your teammates. Don't always just think of yourself.
And that's the formula for success. If you want to have success as an individual and as a team, then you do it. You make sure that you take care of your buddy.
There it is.
Selfless hockey.
Total teammate. All right, there it is. Anything to add? Episode 95.
95. No, just keep yourself warm. You got probably about another 12 to 15 hours here, and I think the temperature warms up a little bit. So if you're thinking about getting out to watch hockey, don't be afraid to rip into Yanmar tomorrow night. Don't be afraid if you're on the East Range to rip into to Virginia and watch Rockridge by Little Falls and check out my brother's team. There's a lot going on if you want to get out and do your winter Northern Minnesota thing, watch some hockey on Friday night.
Absolutely. All right. Please comment. Like I said, there was a couple things that I said, throw your comments in. Please do so. Punch the follow button. Subscribe on YouTube. We've got a YouTube page. T McGill on X, for those of you looking for us. Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the Musi app. You can find us under T with Ms McGill. Actually, you can almost find us under T with Ms McGill now on YouTube. I've noticed you search that. We're one of the first ones that pop up. But for sure, on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble, it's Goat Sports Media LLC. Once again, merch, $20 for a tee, $20 for a baseball cap, $45 for a hoodie. Perfect gift for that special somebody. And once again, a thank you to the greatest partners on earth: Aspire Heating and Control, the Ring Sports Bar and Grill, Iron Range Apparel, Fortune Bay Resort and Casino, Zorba's of Grand Rapids, Iron Range Goalie Academy, Grand Rapids Chevrolet GMC, Minnesota Hockey Camps, Iron Range Plumbing and Heating, First National Bank Chisholm Cook, and of course the Jackson Hole Moose Hockey Club. For Reed Larson, I am Puka. Get out there, be your dream. You're tuned to the Tea with Ms McGill Show.
Would you like to hear about Zorba's specials? On Mondays, it's Micro Monday. All taps are just $4. Tuesdays, $3 tacos and $4 Dos Equis. Wednesdays, personal pizzas, $8 and domestic taps, $4. Thursdays, we have deals on nachos and $5 Surly taps. We offer trivia on Wednesdays at 6 p.m., bingo on Thursday at 6 p.m., and then karaoke Thursdays at 10 p.m.
All right, fellas. You just can't get the hockey itch out of yourself. The college route isn't for you. Community college route isn't for you. The junior hockey route isn't for you. Well, there's still hockey that you can play. Why don't you check out the Jackson Hole Moose out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming? Take a look at these guys. Full crowds, full hockey, packed houses every night. Get a hold of TJ Thomas on Facebook, and he can get you hooked up with what's going on out there in Jackson Hole.
First National Bank of Chisholm, a full-service bank located in the heart of Chisholm on historic Lake Street, locally owned and operated, serving the Iron Range with integrity since 1905.
Did you know that fascia strength training is great if you have a banged up body and you'd like to heal and get stronger at the same time? Unlike muscle-focused exercise that leaves your body stiff and achy, fascia strength exercise releases muscle tension and fills your body with a spring-loaded power and cat-like agility. Fascia strength is great for athletes and martial artists. If you'd like to pursue this training, take a look at my program, Fascia Strength and Power. I'll leave a link in the description box below.
Yo everybody, it is Puka. Quick merch drop here. As always, a little breezy here. We've got the t-shirts, but now visors, 20 bucks. T-shirts, 20 bucks. Hats. Now these got the patches on them. So let us know also if you'd like to see something different, but Goatsportsmediallc at gmail.com, or you instant message. We can do, you know, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, all that good stuff. So there it is.